Hey guys.
Hey y'all.
We had to start over because, again, it's been too long since we've recorded.
And words are hard.
Kentucky's going through its second ice age or something.
It's going through menopause.
No, we're not having hot flashes. We're
Pre-menopause.
freezing.
Pre-menopause.
If you are on the YouTube channel,
I didn't know where that was going.
if you are in pre-menopause, if you're in the YouTube channel, you're going to see that we're in a new space. And
it's gonna be fantastic.
we love it. Also, if there's any sound issues, as always, just bear with us. We'll figure it out.
Sorry.
Kara has an episode.
Well, I sure do. Listen, I told Megan this earlier, and I was like, when I was doing this, I was like, have I done it? Like, this sounds so familiar. It's a little love triangle murder, but I don't believe I've done it. I searched through all our episodes, but what if it's like that one time when it was worded differently and I didn't see it in any of the description?
When you start talking, I'll let you know.
You're going to tell me. Okay, well, I'm going to tell you about a scandalous murder that took place in broad daylight near the White House that got attention in 1859.
None of this is ringing any bells. I feel like I would remember it.
Great. Because I'm going to ring. Listen.
You going to ring my bell?
We have a little committee here in Nicholasville that's like just a beautification, downtown revitalization type committee. And sometimes our judge executive sits on it. And he said the funniest, cutest thing the other day when we were in a meeting. Somebody was like, oh, can you get this information from so-and-so? And he's like, I'm going to ring his chimes.
Ring his chimes?
And we said, you are? You're going to ring his chimes?
What does that mean?
I don't know, but I wrote it down so I'd remember it.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be added.
Does he think that's slang for a phone call?
I think so.
Cute. He just made, it's not at all.
It's not.
But it should be.
Yeah.
Now it is. Let's start it.
He's our judge executive, and he also has a funeral home.
Well, that's so
Nicholasville. Small town.
Love it.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to give you a little background of where we're at around this time in DC.
Good plan. Good idea.
So it's an odd mix of chaos and control. It's run by Congress since it wasn't a state. So people living there had zero voting representation.
That's the name of my autobiography, by the way. Chaos
and control. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Controlled chaos is mine. So like think about it as your local affairs being decided by folks who don't even live there. Super frustrating.
Gosh, I can't imagine what that's like.
I can't even think about
having my life decisions made for me by
somebody
super
else.
Old white man. What? Okay, it's a stretch.
Yeah. Also, at the time, slavery is a big issue. The Compromise of 1850 banned the slave trade in DC, but not slavery itself, which just added fuel to this fire, and debates were happening across the country. People were just over it and angry and happy and sad all at the same time. It was a lot in
over
this
it,
area.
Angry, happy, and sad.
Yeah. Whatever else you can feel about that situation, I'm sure they were feeling it. And then Alexandria, the part of DC, got handed back to Virginia in 1846 because people were like, well, we're a little worried that Congress is going to outlaw slavery in the district. So we're real big on this slave trade. And we don't want to lose out on that. So then that's all over the place too. And then by 1860, about 75,000 people were living in DC, with about 15% being free African Americans, 4% enslaved. So you've got like this diverse community going on in this area, like quickly growing area. Then in 1846, the Smithsonian opened its doors. You all know how much I love a museum. But at this time, DC wasn't exactly glamorous. It may not still be. I haven't been.
I think parts of it are.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I hear they have a good food scene. That's all I'm here for. Food and museums, I'm there.
Yeah.
So they were struggling with like really bad infrastructure, sketchy public health, and just like trying to keep up with the growth. And just like sanitation and muddy streets is not a good combination at the time. We've got Lafayette Square in DC.
Everybody's favorite French one.
Yes. It's been through it. It's not just a pretty park, which people see in pictures. It has a ton of history. In the early days, when DC was being designed, Lafayette Square was supposed to be just a part of this super cool, chill, calm area near the White House. But then Thomas Jefferson was like, hey guys, it's 1804 and I was just thinking maybe we should run the Pennsylvania Avenue through here. So let's like split the park up away from the White House. And people were like, yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Sounds great.
We do whatever Thomas Jefferson says.
So, you know, it got named after the famous French guy who helped us during the Revolutionary War. And I put
Lafayette. I can't think of the rest of it right now.
No. Okay. So over time, the spot was a racetrack, a graveyard, a zoo.
Oh, wow.
A slave trading site. During War of 1812, soldiers camped here. And it became the go-to spot for protests and celebrations. It was just a hodgepodge of places to go and be seen. So the neighborhood scene. Back in the 19th century, there were the rich and famous. They hung out here. People like Martin Van Buren, Henry Clay, they all lived by. It was a place where you wanted to mingle with the elite. And people just made it a little hotspot. There's so much history. So on to our characters. Daniel Sickles.
Okay.
I'm checking to see if you recognize
I do
the
not.
names. Okay, beautiful.
I don't think you've done this one before.
Great. I love it because this is such an interesting story. Daniel Sickles was born in New York in maybe 1819 or maybe 1825. He liked to fudge his numbers to make himself seem a little younger, especially when he married a teenager. But I'll go over that here in a second. He comes from a lot of wealth. He was a lawyer, a politician, a Civil War general. When the Civil War, why is it so hard to say right now? Civil War kicked
I don't know.
off.
We're usually really great at work.
Yeah, so God, guys, I'm so sorry. I don't know what's happening right now. Sickles had zero military experience, but he became a general. But I'll cover that later. He was one of those like political generals who just got his job. Yeah. He also led a bunch of troops to their death.
Oh.
Yeah, he moved his troops to this position without permission, and there were 40% casualties.
So it's one of those situations where he didn't like work his way up to general. He was just appointed.
Yeah, they were like,
so he didn't really know what he was doing.
You have a good background in whatever.
And nothing that matters here. Yeah,
exactly.
Let's put people's lives in your hands.
Right, exactly. Like, let me give you all these people to be in charge of, and I think you'll do great at it because you have so much experience that you don't actually have. Yeah. But listen to this. People say that it was unfortunate, but probably good that those people lost their lives because it probably slowed down the Confederate attack.
Oh, wow. You're really reaching for like a positive spin here, aren't you? Not you, but whoever said that thing.
Whoever thinks that.
Yeah, they're wrong. That's terrible.
But listen, you're going to love this. Not this part, but he loses his leg because he gets hit by a cannonball. But he donates his amputated leg to a museum in DC in a coffin-shaped box with his calling card. And rumor has it, in some of these articles, it is said that he visited it every year on the anniversary of his amputation.
If you're the museum that receives it, it's not like, what do? You're just like, thanks. You can't say no, right?
Right.
It's this guy's leg. Wow.
Did a great
so much.
That was a great feat.
Or at least foot.
So he was really committed to his own legend. I read that it could be the National Museum of Health and Medicine that it could potentially be at. So go check that out. After the war, he kept stirring some pots. He spent years claiming he was the real hero of the Gettysburg. He trashed his superior officer, George Meade. He got a Medal of Honor for his actions, and people were like, why?
Well, because he clearly has connections.
Like, people now are like, why? Back then, he was a hero.
Wow. Isn't it amazing what the right PR can do for a person?
Right? I mean, well, this story is his PR.
Okay.
This is what got him honor. I feel like Mulan. Okay, so he still had his political career, and early in his relationship with his wife, they like to travel, but he also enjoyed time with other ladies, notable sex workers in the area, Fanny being one of them.
So he didn't enjoy being faithful to his wife.
Right. No. But he is a man of honor.
Right.
Megan, don't question this.
That's never mattered
no,
when it comes to men in power. Come on.
Nobody questioned that. He can do what he wants.
Boys will be boys.
Listen, he introduced Fanny to Queen Victoria, pretending she was someone else.
Oh my God.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah. Mingling with the rich while his wife is pregnant back at home. Fun, huh? Yeah. So he was a very scandalous, chaotic human. He lived to be 94, long enough to see himself become both infamous and somehow a respected veteran. I don't know. That's the story. All right, guys. Teresa Sickles, his wife, his beloved wife. She actually was a gem of a human. She was born in New York City in 1836. She was born into a prominent family. Her dad...
What's his name, Karen?
Antonio Baggioli.
Yep.
He was an Italian singing teacher. I don't know. His last name sounds right. But, he wrote... her mom, Maria, was connected to the guy that wrote the librettos.
I don't know what that
music. Her mom, Maria, was connected to the dude that wrote some music for Mozart's The Marriage of Figaro.
Oh, wow.
So she was like...
So Mozart was alive at the same time as these people.
Isn't that crazy?
Huh? Yeah, I need a minute because in my head...
We gotta think about this.
Mozart is
ancient.
And I mean, we're talking about something that happened a super long time ago too, but for some reason
we're still telling these people's stories. Yeah.
Okay.
It's got it. Shakespeare.
I'm a history wizard.
We're so good at this. We're so good at this. By the time that she was a young adult, she could speak. YouTube's like, what is wrong with them? I
got my hair done yesterday.
And she can't stop touching it.
Well, it's just like it's too
Oh my God, I just realized I left mine up.
Hot Mess Express. No, you look cute. Okay. It just won't. It keeps being like
wispy.
Yeah.
All those soft, fine baby hairs.
Yeah.
Okay. By the time she was a young adult, she could speak 5 languages, which was incredible. I can only speak one and know half sign language.
I barely
speak the one and know a little sign language. She was, in several articles, it says that she was a sharp person. She was worldly. She was poised for a bright future. She grew up surrounded by culture, music, and I put in there probably a polymath because I'm sure she was called bookish instead, but she was a polymath, I'm sure.
She's a brilliant woman.
Yes. So she meets Dan Sickles when she's a baby, which is weird, but they find each other later in life when she's 15, still a baby, and he was, wait for it, 32.
Oh,
ish.
God. 32. And
she's 15.
Yeah.
Oh,
I dislike him more and more.
Yeah, it's gross. He, at the time when they met again when she was 15, he was a rising politician at the time, and he was super into Teresa. He proposed, but her family was like, don't think so. Absolutely not.
Because she's a baby.
Right. And also, you're known for being a ladies' man, and we don't want our child involved with that. You just aren't great husband material. But they didn't care. They elope in 1852. They had a civil ceremony, and then they finally got the family's blessing for a proper church wedding after.
Oh, no.
I know. A year into their marriage, they have their only child, a daughter named Laura, and they went to fancy places. They got to do fun, fancy things. He was appointed as Secretary of the U.S. Legislation in London. So she got thrown into this high-profile political,
society,
social. Yeah, like
probably seemed really fun and impressive to a 15-year-old.
But like I mentioned when I was telling his information, there's a lot of talk that he would bring Fanny to places.
How
and
old was
leave
Fanny?
Teresa behind. I don't know how old Fanny was.
You know how we always talk about how cute old names are?
Yes, Fanny is one of those.
I was thinking the opposite. Like, Fanny's probably not a name I would bring back.
Fanny. No, I was gonna say you're thinking Fanny's one of those.
No. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Probably no.
No.
Do you think that's short for something?
That's what I don't know. We're gonna get emails.
Vanessa.
Like, my daughter's name is Fanny. And it's great.
Fannery.
Penelope.
Fanta. Fanny?
Fannery. Fenoli. I don't know. We should
I
keep
like
going.
Penelope.
We should keep
I like Penelope.
Penelope is pretty great.
I like that a lot. So here we are with Penelope White. Okay. So he took Penelope to London and left Teresa behind because he was such a gentleman. Such a good husband.
He just didn't want his mistress and his wife to mingle.
He just left her there to make sure that everything was safe and okay. And then he called for her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, can't stand him. So 1856, they're back in the States living in Washington, D.C., and he's climbing the political ladder. She becomes the most perfect hostess. She's doing all the things people said at this age, at this time, she was beautiful. And she is. Her pictures, she's gorgeous. She's beautiful, charming. They said she could win over intimidating guests, people that he was trying to do deals with, I'm sure. No one was in the room.
Well, nobody wants to be rude to a child, you know?
Right, exactly. Exactly. So she would host elegant dinners. She would attend major social events, and she even made friends with Mary Todd Lincoln. Yeah. I put on there because I don't know if this happened or not, but can you imagine her at one of Mary's seances? Because remember that happened?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Can you imagine her sitting next to Mary Todd holding her hand and being like, yes, babe, that is him. That is him. He is talking to you.
Yeah.
He did say that.
Amazing.
He was trying to communicate.
I forgot all about Mary Todd Lincoln.
Petting her hand.
Yeah.
But also, isn't it weird to think that this is that same time? Once again,
and Mozart could
Mary
be there
Todd
too.
Lincoln, and
maybe they were all together.
Yes.
I can't.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to tell you that she, in her later years, they were quiet but short. She passes away in 1867 at 31. Probably
younger than her husband was when he met
her. They think it was probably tuberculosis.
31.
Yeah.
Man.
So I'm going to bring in our third individual in this love triangle.
Penelope?
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess fourth, unless Teresa didn't really know about Penelope that much.
So there's another.
No, Penelope isn't really in this story that much. I just am telling you that he's a horrible human by taking her along. Gotcha. But that's where she stays. Philip Barton Key II. Yeah. He was born in 1818 in Georgetown, D.C. He also has some pretty impressive family connections. You know whose daughters?
Francis Scott Key?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
I don't know. I pulled that out of somewhere deep in my brain.
But that was him. Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah, I was trying to think of what the song name was. Oh, hang on.
His leg is broken.
Okay. Francis Scott Key wrote the Star Spangled Banner.
Okay. And he's his papa.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah. Yep. His uncle, Chief Justice Roger B. Taney, who wrote the infamous Dred Scott decision. So he comes from a family with a lot of influence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
same.
Same Z's. Okay, by the time he's in his 40s, he's known around Washington as the most handsome man in the city. And listen, I looked up images of him. I'd date him. Look him up.
Okay, what's his name?
It's Philip Barton Key. No. The second. That's his. That's not him.
I was staring at it going,
listen, yeah.
Yeah, he's cute.
If I was in that time, I sure would.
Yeah.
Actually, now he'd probably, yeah. But look how pretty she was.
Yeah.
I'd date him, though.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with these ladies.
I got to finish hearing more about him before I decide if
He's
I
a
would date
lover.
him.
Okay. People actually called him that. Pretty handsome. Like the most handsome man in the city. Like it's his unofficial title. Women adored him. He knew how to play an audience. He was a widower with 4 kids, which added to his appeal.
I was going to say,
These
like, good
ladies
Lord, I bet so many men hated him, you know?
Yeah. He was like the 19th century heartthrob.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was not bad at his job either. In 1853, President Franklin Pierce appointed him as the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. His father also held that position years before. He served in that role for the rest of his life.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it gets juicy.
Okay.
1859, Philip caught the eye of Teresa Sickles. They are at these same events, hanging out in the same parties. And from what I've read in several articles, they were not discreet about it at all.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Like Dan wasn't either, was he? I mean,
no,
Dan
but
was
Megan,
hanging out with Fanny.
he's the man.
He's allowed to do what he wants.
He's
a man. Yeah.
Of the household. Like he's running his household how he wants to.
Mm-hmm.
She should respect him and honor him. Cheers up. Philip
I dated that guy. So.
See, that's fun. That's a lot of fun. Philip had a signal for Teresa. He would stand outside their home and wave a white handkerchief to let her know he's ready to meet up.
Wow. Okay.
Uh-huh.
This is very 1800s.
Yeah. So someone ends up tipping Dan off, and he's not going to let that slide. Yeah. So let's rewind to February 1859. Dan Sickles is living in D.C. with Teresa, and people are thinking they're a power couple. Like, they are hosting all the dinners, attending all the balls. They're rubbing elbows with Washington's elite, but their marriage is struggling. Dan's out and about doing whatever he wants, whenever he wants, with whoever he wants. And he's openly having these affairs. Like, he's taking people to meet the queen and going all places.
And not his wife.
Right.
Yeah.
And so Teresa's lonely.
Yeah.
And Philip's like, I will take care of you. And she's like, you are beautiful. Yes, sir. You can do that.
Yeah.
I will let you do that. And they were an adorable little, like, picture those two together. That's adorable. They're beautiful people.
Oh my God.
Sure. But they begin spending a lot of time together. It's subtle. He escorts her to events when Dan's busy. And everyone that is paying attention notices something's going on. They get a rented house on 15th Street for their private moments. So these articles said.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Like old newspaper articles. So Dan at the time has no idea. February 24th, he gets an anonymous letter. And the writer's just spilling tea. Not the Boston tea, but he's spilling the tea.
Nice. Good work.
I got all of these today. And in there, he's the person, whoever wrote the letter, was just like, hey, your wife, your lady, is getting some signals out y'all's windows about some meetings in another house or your house. So you may want to check on that. Your lady's running out on you. And so Dan's like, well, I'm pissed. This can't be happening. Not in broad daylight. Not at any time. How dare you do that? Why would you do such a thing? Nobody does that.
Oh my God. I'm so irritated.
Right?
Like, listen. Why are there certain men who think that I'm not going to say any names on the podcast. Right.
No.
But they think that the way they behave has absolutely zero impact on the way, on what their woman does. You know what I mean?
Their lady.
Yeah. I once dated someone who finally at one point I said, "Do you respect me?"
Yeah.
And do you know what he responded? "Why do you care? Women don't care about respect." Wasn't that what? And I kept dating him. What's wrong with me?
You like a red flag.
God, I do. Not anymore.
Not anymore. We've made some changes.
I've found some green flags lately. It's been really nice.
Is it beige flag or green flag?
I don't really know what the word is there.
Golden retriever.
I've never dated one, so
you found
it. All new to me.
You found it.
But yeah, because in certain circles, there is this thing there where men want respect and women want love,
and
is the belief, and so respect for a woman to these people doesn't matter.
No,
and so they think, oh, I can step out on her as much as I want, as long as I'm also nice to her.
Right, I'm still showing her affection.
Yeah, but if she steps out on me, that's embarrassing and disrespectful, and the ultimate betrayal. And I'm just like, how can you not see both sides of that? Yeah. It's bizarre.
Right. And gross. Ugh. Blech.
Okay.
Blech.
Yeah.
So he confronts Teresa that night. She's denying it, but when he lays out everything he knows, and he's like, look at this letter. She breaks down. She says she's had an affair and says, get this, I did what is usual for a wicked woman to do. Like, just trying to, like, please him.
Oh.
And he's not satisfied. Never be satisfied.
Did he? Because it was probably like he didn't even discuss the things he had done.
No. Why would he? He's the man of the house.
Yeah, that ruins his whole argument.
Yeah. So he's not happy that she's only giving a verbal confession. He's like, I got a letter, so I'm going to need you to write this into a letter. Yeah. So she does. She describes meeting him. She describes meeting him at the rented house. Their improper intimacy. Can you imagine him hovering over her while she writes this letter?
This just makes the age difference between them even more gross because of the power dynamic and the way that she's clearly been groomed for years.
Yes.
And
yeah, it's gross. So from there, he starts spiraling. He is humiliated and angry all at the same time. In his mind, she's not just wronged him personally. She's starting to ruin his reputation in Washington. He's a proud man. He can't let this get by. So, like you said, now is still pretty similar. 1859, the idea of marital fidelity is lopsided. Men are powerful. They get away with whatever they want, but women not so much. Women were supposed to, some people think, honor and have virtue. And they're supposed to, like, take care of the husband's reputation. You can't step out of line.
This ultimate respect for men, while at the same time believing that men just can't control themselves. Like, this narrative doesn't make sense. Right. Like, you're supposed to be like, sure, you can be in charge of everything, even though at the same time, oh, you just can't control your urges, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The narrative is whatever serves.
No, she wasn't sad and lonely and miserable and being left all alone, and then some beautiful man shows her attention and is actually, like, taking care of her needs. And he was old and probably couldn't. I'm not going to go there. But
it's like cheating's wrong, right? She made the wrong choice, but
why are we chastising her?
Well, yeah, it's how angry he got. Yeah. Like, without any self-awareness of, like, I'm also cheating on her and making her look like an idiot. And
he had been doing it long before she even thought about it.
They could have both broken down, admitted their relationship was a mess and ended it and walked away, or both broken down, admitted their relationship was a mess and decided to work on it together. Right. But instead, it's like she's automatically vilified.
Right.
And she's the wrong one. And he just can't believe it. And it's like, are you really, sir? You can't believe it?
Yeah.
I'm getting a little too angry.
Yes. So the news broke of her affair, and it broke fast. Society was so quick to condemn her. People said that Philip Barton Key II was a villain who seduced her, and she was weak and fallen and corruptible. And Dan was seen as someone that was wronged. So it's Sunday, February 27th, 1859. It's a sunny day in Washington, D.C. There's crisp in the square, right across from the White House, with the street going between. Don't forget about the street. People are enjoying their weekend. And Daniel Sickles is home. And he's looking out at the park. And he's angry. He's probably pacing back and forth in front of these windows, just waiting for his aha moment to happen. And poor Philip Barton Key has no idea that Dan knows. He makes his rounds around the town. He starts circling the square, and he waves a white handkerchief outside near the home. And he doesn't know that Dan is home, and he doesn't know that he's watching.
Oh, no.
So Sickles is beyond angry. One of his friends, Samuel Butterworth, was with him, and he's trying to talk him out of whatever insane situation he's about to create. He's just like, dude, let's think about this. Let's, you could ruin your career. Let's just take a step back and let's figure it out.
Oh, no.
And Sickles is like, no, thank you. Gets 2 pistols.
Thank you.
Yeah. And storms out.
Definitely gonna go make this work.
I got this. He's like walking out the door like this.
10 dual commandments. Number 1. Or whatever. I can't remember. Yeah. I don't know the rest.
We don't know unless we're listening to it. And then we know all the words.
I know every word.
Yeah. That's wild. Yeah. Anyways. So, Philip Barton Key II, standing near the park's Andrew Jackson statue. And he sees Sickles come up to him and he's like, hey, man, what's up?
Dude.
Sticks his hand out to shake it and is just like hey, how are you? How are you today? And Dan's like, I don't think so. He shouts, you villain, you've dishonored my home. You must die. He pulls out the Derringer and fires the first shot.
I thought he was taking 2 guns to give him one and have a duel. No. He just I got 2 guns, 1 for each of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tombstone quote.
Yeah. I love this. So we have so many quotes right now.
I know. We're combining so many movies right now.
This is so great. Also, we haven't seen each other in a hot minute, so now we're just we're full on it.
Y'all should have been here before we started recording.
Whew, so good. Okay, so Philip Barton Key II realizes too late what's happening. Shot misses, though. But Sickles is like, no. I'm coming at you. Lunges at him. Philip Barton Key tries to grab the gun from him, but Sickles breaks free, fires at him again, and he hits him in the groin.
Oh, no.
The groin. So Philip staggers back, pleads for his life. Don't murder me. Don't murder me. And Sickles doesn't care. He fires a third shot, close range, and Key collapses to the ground. Bystanders are rushing to the scene, and they carry Key to a nearby building, the clubhouse on Madison Place, where he dies shortly after from his wounds.
Where was Teresa? At the house this whole time?
Yeah. Sickles calmly puts his pistol back in his pocket, walks across the park, and turns himself in at the home of the Attorney General, just a few blocks away.
Wow.
He doesn't even go home. He's just like, meh, I did what I came here to do. So, and this happened in broad daylight, right in front of the White House, across the street from the White House. And obviously, the president is made aware of the situation, and it becomes a national sensation. Like, it is just absolutely
it has
wild.
everything.
Yeah. So he's arrested. He's put on trial. And you would think that people would be like, he's not so much a hero anymore. Like, he's kind of wild.
Oh, no.
And he murdered. No. This actually made people love him more. Mm-hmm. His defense team said that he acted to defend his honor and the honor of all married men. Mm-hmm.
Who's defending Teresa's honor when he is out with Fanny?
Right. Nobody. Because she dishonored him. So.
Oh, my God.
Right? Woof. Woof.
They're both wrong.
Right.
And they've both been wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's not an innocent victim here.
Well, and listen, like, he was in broad daylight. He doesn't try to fight this. He admits that he killed him. But listen to this legal strategy. He gets an all-star legal team, and they start coming up with ideas. They introduced the concept of temporary insanity as a legal defense. Insanity defenses weren't new, but the idea that someone could be insane temporarily and then return back to normal, they never used in the U.S. courts before. So they argued that he was so overcome with rage and betrayal after seeing all of this happen and seeing him in the window that it just took over him and he ran and shot Key, but then became himself again, like his normal self.
Wow.
So they worked to completely destroy Philip Barton Key's reputation. They painted him as a predator who seduced innocent young women. And Teresa confessed, she said, I willingly met with him. I wanted to be with him. I wanted to do these things with him. I was lonely. I was, whatever. And after weeks of testimony and drama, jury deliberated for over an hour and they came back with a verdict, not guilty.
It would have been all men too, right? Mm-hmm. On the jury.
Mm-hmm. He was acquitted on the grounds of temporary insanity, which made history as the first person in the U.S. to successfully use this defense. And just people went crazy. He became a celebrity, and it was just like he was this incredible person for doing what he did. And let's protect him.
He saved the sanctity of marriage.
Right. But listen to this. The public got kind of frustrated with him because he forgave Teresa and took her back.
God, I feel so bad for
like,
Teresa. That was her shot out,
Uh-huh. Yep.
And she couldn't take it.
Right. Oh, I also said, this is the same that Lorena Bobbitt used it in the 1990s. Like, this is
the temporary insanity.
Yeah. So he walked out of the courtroom a free man, but this scandal never really left him or Teresa. It was more than a trial. It was a defining moment in their lives and history and
law.
Yeah.
Wow.
But he was an unhinged human, and poor Teresa died young.
Yeah, she never got to live.
And she never got to live because this, shadowed her whole entire life, and he was still the hero that he was.
I guess in that time.
And I'm sure he was still running around.
Getting married, for sure.
Had to have been.
Getting married super young was not unusual.
Right.
But, oh my God.
Oof.
It just, she never had a chance.
No.
And again, she was wrong to cheat.
Right.
Too. I'm not trying to but it's just, they both messed up. Why is she the one being punished and vilified?
Yes.
And he gets to be a freaking hero?
Oh, yeah.
No one's thinking wow, you're a kind of dirty, gross husband.
Yeah. Woof.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, well, great. Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
I'm going to be in a bad mood the rest of the day.
We hate that. No, we don't.
No, we don't.
We're just the bad ones.
Just a few of them.
Just the garbage ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you all for listening.
Yeah.
We love you
So much.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.